Episode 145. When it came to dungeon records, the major guild's watchful waiting over the burial grounds had essentially reached its final moments. Like Blue River and Nightfall Cold Pool, anyone with Lord Grim on their friends list knew. After last night, Lord Grim had already reached level 28. There was no longer any way to challenge the burial grounds dungeon record. If Dynasty was still wary of Lord Grim and didn't dare to challenge his records, then now would be the perfect time to make their move without worry. If they still can't break the burial grounds record now, it at least proves that Jia Clan's hired expert has finally been suppressed by Lord Grim. Lord Grim truly has the final say on the dungeon records in Server 10. Lan River and Night Crossing Cold Sand both had Lord Grim directly on their friends list. As for the other guild leaders, they each had their own methods. They gathered intel, kept a close watch on the burial grounds all day, but saw no record change. They waited until the early hours when the new dungeon attempts reset. Everyone waited and watched for another hour or two, right down to the wire. Their judgment was finally confirmed. And so, Lord Grim was officially placed on the major guild's priority list. It was time to start making their move. Blue River had the early advantage here. He had been the first to partner with Lord Grim. Right now, Zheng Mo Xiao's team is still registered under the Langxi Pavilion banner. Besides, we already set the stage last time, so it's only natural to bring it up now.
Hey, about that thing we discussed last time, what do you think?
I'll think about it a bit more.
You know how it is, brother. Now, all the guilds know how good you are. But if you keep selling your services under your own name like this, in the end, the leaderboards will be plastered with your name. It would be a huge loss of face for every guild. In the end, the name that would echo through the rankings would be your Lord Grim, not the guilds. I don't think any guild wants to see that happen. As for you, brother, I don't think you're here for fame either.
Lan River's analysis is spot on.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't have used my own account to play for him.
Lan River was taken aback. Not using your own account. Exactly. That's the professional spirit of a hired gun. In fact, the guilds prefer to hire this kind of expert for their dirty work. Of course, it's also very common for players like Lord Grim to just use their own accounts when taking on these jobs. But when you're grinding for records and climbing the leaderboards, you just don't do that. To be honest, the top guilds could always afford to hire ranking experts, but none had ever produced a character like Lord Grim, a character who, the moment they make a move, crushes the records set by everyone's elite teams by several minutes. Brother, what's your plan? Lan River asked tentatively.
That's why I'm still thinking it over.
Oh, then be sure to tell me your answer as soon as you have it. Lan River could only sigh in resignation.
He was at a loss for words. At the same moment, Nightfall Cold Pool had also made a similar analysis to Blue River's. He just hadn't taken the front lines like Blue River had. That's why they're now offering a generous buyout deal, like ElevenLab as voice actor for the Yisiu. He responded that he needed to consider it. On top of that, a flood of random friend requests poured in. A quick look revealed they were all from the 20 teams of the major guild's Glory Alliance. More than half of the guilds backed by the pro teams in game had already reached out to Ye Xiu. Ye Xiu gave the same considered reply to each one. But throughout all this, there was no sign of Herb Garden's people. What should we do? Ye Xiu said hesitantly. This wasn't a refusal. He was genuinely weighing how things would unfold. Things were not proceeding as smoothly as Ye Xiu had anticipated. If it was just Lu Hao's disruption, even though it was ultimately suppressed. But the damage was already done. Take Tang Ru and Steamed Bun invasion, for instance. They're currently being bombarded with messages. If it weren't for Yu Hao causing trouble, why would Yi Chu need to drag all these people into collective indentured servitude? With everyone getting bombarded by messages, their progress through the dungeon was a bit slow. Now at level 28, the group was tackling a new dungeon for levels 28 to 30. The Glazed Lands. The new dungeon is, of course, on a new map. The map, naturally, was also called the Glazed Lands. According to Glory's lore, this was a gathering place for a group of homeless wanderers. They revere strength, where might makes right. The leveling zones were teeming with all sorts of wandering rogues. The dungeon Glazed Lands is another major gathering spot within the region itself. They say it's a gathering of the toughest thugs and ruffians in the Glazed Lands. The dungeon record for the Glazed Lands was just broken early this morning. The current record is held by Blue Brook Guild. Blue Brook Guild's elite team was undoubtedly equipped with level 30 purple weapons and full class sets. Looking at this result, Yishio felt that, for their current level 28 team to break through, would still require some serious effort. Right now, Tian Qiai and Yu Zhengmian know the dungeon well, but they lack the skill. Chang Rou and Steamed Bun Invasion had the skill, but this was their very first time running this dungeon, and they were completely unfamiliar with it. It took them over 2 hours to barely scrape through all 3 runs. The daily entry limit for the Glazed Lands dungeon is only 3 runs. The group gathered outside the dungeon, ready to run the Burial Grounds instance one more time. Even though their levels were higher now, but dungeon mobs are elite monsters after all, and the extra experience from clearing the instance adds up. It's still faster than grinding mobs directly in the Glazed Lands leveling zone. Meanwhile, at the Burial Grounds, a 5-player party had just finished setting a new record for its dungeon. The team was composed of White Knight Black Day, Fallen Angel, Cloud Soar Moonlight, and Cawing Crow in the Withered Tree. After the 4th record was posted, all 4 of them looked thoroughly awkward. Forget about the top spot on the leaderboard. In the end, the record they set couldn't even come close to 3rd place. Although their classes hadn't yet reached the level cap of 27 for Burial Grounds, but there's not much difference between 27 and 25. Given their quasi-pro level of skill, for a dungeon record to have such a massive gap is frankly unacceptable. All 5 of them were a bit panicked. They'd already given it their absolute best effort, yet this was the result. Their characters weren't fully geared, but each one of them had a level 25 purple weapon in hand, accounts personally requested by the expert. Even though it was just a bare account with common gear, Poplar still made a token gesture of appreciation. He handed out a purple tier weapon to each of them. Captain, one of the 5 turned to look behind them, said Wang Jiexi of Team Tiny Herb.
Well played.
The 5 of them just stared at each other. Is the captain mocking us?
Still so far from the record.
Zhao Yingji said, his voice thick with shame.
That's because your tactics are wrong.
The 5 of them exchanged glances once more. They hadn't done a single thing wrong. Where exactly did we go wrong?
Told to pull off a record like that. They must have found a new strategy.
Oh, then shall we look into it?
Are you kidding me? Is that really how you should be spending your time? Go find Lord Grim. And then, kill him once. Then get some rest early. This will be one of your main training routines from now on.